Hey friends, Pastor Kevin here. Thanks for coming and joining us today for Pastor Kevin and Friends. And I want to talk to you today about something very important from God's Word, from the Bible. And in the Bible, God gave us these 10 things that we need to remember. They're called the 10 Commandments. And I think the reason they're called the 10 Commandments is because there's 10 of them, right? But they're very good for us to remember because they teach us how to love God and love others. In fact, Jesus gave this great commandment. He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. The second commandment is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. We need to learn to like the one that God made. He made you. In fact, before creation, he chose you. That's how important you are. But he gives us these 10 commandments, and the first 4 talk about how we relate to him. And then the next 6 talk about how we relate to everybody else. And when we do that and we keep God first in our life, great things will happen. In the Bible, the first commandment says to love the Lord your God and have no other gods before him. Don't put anything more important than God. Have no other gods before you. Don't have the game station, the friends, the Facebook, or anything like that. Don't let anything, the phone, don't let anything stand in your way between you and God. Make him number one in your life. And today, I want to tell you a story about somebody in the Bible that made sure God was number one in their life. His name is Daniel. Now, I need a volunteer to play the role of Daniel today. Oh, you? Yeah, come on up here. So here is our person that's going to play Daniel. No, I don't play with Barbies. I just happened to borrow this one. And so, Ken, you stand right there. And Ken, who did you come with? Oh, Barbie. Huh, that's interesting. How'd you get here? Her dream car? Oh, well, anyway. So Ken, Ken, you're going to play the role of Daniel. And in the Bible, the story is told about King Darius. And some people came to King Darius and said, hey, King, we want you to live forever. Why don't we have everybody bow down and worship you? And if anybody doesn't, what we will do is we'll have them thrown into the lion's den and let the lions eat them up because you're the one that's most important, King, and we need everybody to worship you. King Darius thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. But Daniel decided, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to obey this. I need to obey what God says and worship God and God only. So every day, 3 times a day, Daniel would go up into his room. He would open the windows so everybody could see him and he would pray. Well, guess who caught him praying? Yes, those guys that talked to King Darius into making the rule that anybody caught praying would be put in the lion's den. Well, they took good old Daniel and they took some rope and they tied him up. They put those ropes tight around him. And then they threw him into the lion's den. You would think those lions were hungry and they would have eaten him up. But Daniel prayed and Daniel trusted God. And Daniel kept Jesus as his number one. And he followed Jesus. In the morning, that night King Darius didn't sleep at all. But in the morning he went and called, Daniel! He hollered into the lion's den, Daniel! And Daniel hollered back, yes, King! And Daniel was set free. Daniel was not kept in the captivity of those ropes or eaten by the lions. And those people that had made that rule that everybody that didn't bow down to Darius would be thrown in the lion's den, well, they and their family became lion chow. Yes, they were eaten because they didn't put God as their number one. They allowed other things to be their God. But King Darius had a change of heart, and he started following the God of Daniel. And boys and girls, the most important thing we can do is make Jesus our forever friend and make him number one in our life and worship him and only him. Have no other gods before me is the first commandment. Let's remember that. Say it with me. Have no other gods before him. That's very important. Thanks, boys and girls. And until we see each other again, bye-bye. I can't wait to see you in church.